Greetings. Today's artifact is a Tandy 1000HX computer, which was just another IBM compatible computer that was released in that era. It's a bit of an upgrade to the standard PC. It runs at just over 7 megahertz, even though you can bring it back to the standard 4.77 megahertz for compatibility reasons. It's of course the all-in-one, has a single floppy drive, which is a double density, double-sided 720K drive. But what it had a enhanced graphics mode, so you could do, which was a little better than EGA, of course used more memory, but made it ideal for using with games. First of all, I'd like to offer two clarifications / apologies. You may notice that my hands are my fingers are black tinted, both my hands, but I'm only showing you one. Don't worry, that is not black mold. But I attempted to refill an inkjet cartridge with ink, and I neglected to put on gloves. Enough said. The second issue is, you can see a monitor poking through on the other side, which we'll detail in a little bit. The problem is you will see some flicker on it. I can get rid of the flicker, but the short of it is that I have to change frame rates and other stuff, and the video files increase a lot in size, making editing and uploading a chore. So please bear with the slight flicker, and rest assured it is totally clear in real life, or I should say flicker free. I've had this machine for a while, but I didn't leave myself any notes, so I wasn't sure what was wrong with it, if anything. But let's boot it up and see what happens. Oh, the monitor is basically a Philips 8CM515 with a 14-inch screen. It was also released by Commodore as the 1084 monitor, and so most of these will be under the Commodore brand, but they're all the Philips monitors. They're kind of nice, and basically they're running CGA. But the Tandy, of course, is capable of running CGA, EGA, and an enhanced mode. It has a bunch of modes where you can increase resolution, increase the color palette, and stuff like that. So this monitor should be able to handle all of those. But let's turn it on. So you can see it boots up, and it actually boots this little startup screen from a ROM, because I don't have any disks inserted right now. And it gives you options. It comes with DeskMate, which was like an all-in-one miniature Windows environment that let you do all sorts of useful and useless things. But what you can do here is start up from internal drive, and you can see the drive light coming on, but nothing happens because there isn't a disk in there. And that's when I found what the problem was with this. I tried to insert a disk here, but it would only go in part way and meet up with a lot of resistance. And fortunately, I didn't force anything. But what we're going to have to do is look in there and see what may be wrong with that disk, and hopefully be able to fix it. I removed 9 screws from the bottom of the case, but it's still being held in place by something. Couldn't see anything else, but then I noticed there's the cover here for you to insert expansion cards, and that needs to slide forward. And I played with that for a while, and I finally figured it out. All you do is you press the front, and then you slide it back, and it comes open. And see, it's just a case, it's just some space to put cards in, with 3 covers in the back, memory expansion and whatever else. But there are 2 more screws in here. Can you see that? No. One is here, and the other one is here. So after removing those, hopefully we can open up this device. Okay, those 2 screws are out, and let's see. Oh. And the top comes off. We see the cage over here. Single drive installed. It does have space for a second drive. And if we look at it a little more closely, everything's covered in an RF shield. But over here, you can see there's a ROM poking out. And that's basically the BIOS that includes the startup screen stuff you saw on the monitor. But yeah, next we got to remove some more screws to remove the cage, the drive, and see what ails it. So the cage was having a good time at my expense. It didn't want to come out. You remove the 2 screws that hold it down, swing it up gently till you find just the right position, then it'll slide out. So here's the drive, which is a, oh, what is it? It's a Sony. There's a model number here somewhere. But anyway, oh, there it is. It's a Sony MPF63W-72D. It's double-sided dual-density drive. Can't see anything, so we're going to have to take the top shield off and see what's going on inside. Okay, the problem became apparent real quickly. Somebody, not me, shoved a disc in here by force, and it caught on the side 2 head at the tip of the screwdriver here and ripped it off from its holder. And I don't know why the disc wasn't going in. I mean, it's open now, but obviously this must have been bent and really badly and then the disc got hung up on the head, and again, I didn't do this, but somebody must have shoved in a disc real hard and ripped the head off. Now, if you look at this, the head isn't damaged. It's only the part that holds it in place. But since my mechanical skills are not very good, and neither is my patience, I've looked at this, and this needs to be glued back into place, but this little frame on here is bent, and it's a flexible thing, and it's got to be straightened and bent and be glued back. And the long and the short of it is, as far as I'm concerned, this drive is ruined. I'm never going to be able to fix it. So, not me. I'm sure there's some of you out there who tell me that I'm an idiot and it can be fixed in 10 minutes, but not me. So what we need to do is find another drive, and that introduces another complexity. And that is, Tandy decided to deviate from the Shugart standard interface, and in that they run power through the ribbon cables. Normally the drives and this one even does, but it isn't used, have a separate power connector over here for plus minus 5 volts. But I guess what Tandy did was, by running it through the ribbon cable, they didn't have to put an extra power connector in there. And what you're looking at is the output. I mean, not the output, but basically the pin functionality. And if you look at the even numbered pins, they adhere to the Shugart standard. But if you look at the odd numbered pins on the standard, actually I think almost all of them are ground. So what Tandy did was they decided to borrow a few of them, 5 to put in 5 volts, and 3 to put in 12 volts. And that's nice, but unless you have a drive that can be configured for the Tandy, if you just put in another drive, one that has all of these pins connected together to ground, you're essentially shorting out the 5 volts and the 12 volts from the power supply, which will go poof, or at a minimum, the machine will just, if the power supply works properly, the power supply just won't come on because it'll see a short. So what we need to do is come up with a solution to basically connect these guys back, actually either connect them to ground or just disconnect all of these. We have enough grounds left over here. And then we need to fashion a power cable that supplies 5 volts and 12 volts to the power connector I just showed you on the drive. And then we should be able to use a regular floppy drive. Now, double-sided, double-density drives have mostly been thrown away when high-density drives came out, so they are difficult to find nowadays. But I think I have a good substitute. So here's the original cable. That's just a straight-through 34-pin ribbon cable that if you plug a regular drive into this, it will do very nasty things. And obviously the machine won't work. So after thinking about it, it will be really hard to go to this connector on the back and cut pins and do all of that stuff. Now if you look at this, you can clearly see the traces here that all of these, which are supposed to be ground, are broken out, and the first 3 are plus 12 volts, and these other 5 are plus 5 volts. So this drive is actually physically has this connector altered to be compatible with the Tandy machines. But on any other drive, you will see, of course, all of the odd number pins just straight connected through. Making alterations on that is going to be difficult. So the only choice that leaves us with is to alter the cable. And that's what I did. Well, I didn't alter it, I made a new one. And this is what it looks like. I haven't put a second connector on it yet, but what I did was I separated all of the lines that carry power and cut them so that these lines no longer are connected to the floppy drive. We still have plenty of ground lines here for it to work. And then since those are the ones that carry power, I connected one of these 4-pin connectors to the wires that I have lifted, and that'll have to go to the power connector on a standard drive. The replacement drive I'm going to use is a Sony model MPF 920-C. This is actually a high density drive, and it is the form factor is also, it's the original drive is somewhat taller than that, so we're going to have a gap in there, as you can see on the edge. But let's see if we can make it work. Now it should, even though this is a high density drive, they have a detector for the write protect on the left side, but they also have a detector for high density disks on the right side. It's just a switch. High density disks have an open slot, and double-sided disks don't have that slot. So the drive knows whether you have a high density or a double dense or a regular density drive in there. So this should work. Yeah, famous last words. But yeah, instead of just telling you that, let me find a disk so you know so you understand what I was talking about. Let's have a look at the different types of floppies. So here's a well, let's first use the dual-side double density, which is what we're supposed to use on the Tandy, 720K capacity. It has the write protect hole over here, and if you turn it around, you can slide this up to write protect it, of course, and slide it down to write enable it. On the other hand, you will see the outline of another hole over here, but this is of course blocked. And this is how the drive determines whether you have a high density disk or not. Here's a high density disk, 1.44 megabytes. And again, it has the write protect on this side, but just a hole over here. So this will let a switch, this will leave a switch alone, a detector switch, or even, an optical connection here. When it's open, the drive knows that it has high density media. And if the hole's closed, the drive knows that it has double density media. You should avoid using these disks when the machine calls for double density. It will work, but it'll be hit or miss. And what you should definitely do is cover up this hole with non-transparent tape so the drive, if it is so capable, knows that you want it running in double density mode and handles the flux and everything based on that premise. These Sony drives are pretty good at dropping back down to double density from high density. However, in my experience, not all of the other drives are, some of them just plain ignore the high density indicator, and some of them do not a very good job at throttling down to double density. The Sony 920 series, though, if you can find them, they seem to work really well, and we'll find out in a minute if the Tandy is going to make a liar out of me. Now, this drive I have used before, and it worked, but I don't know what I used it in. So let's find out. Okay, I hooked up to my cable and putting a level of isolation here and maybe tilting it up a little bit. Let's see what, if anything, happens. So let's turn on the machine. Okay, that's good. It is trying the drive right now. But there's nothing in there, so bring the monitor a bit closer and see if we can see everything at once. Flickery screen and all. Okay, so our options are run personal deskmate, set system date and time, view programs on drive A, and start up from internal drive. So that is going to be the actual test to see if that drive works. I have 2 disks I made with the IMD utility because these are in standard IBM PC format, albeit double density. But here's MS-DOS 2.11, which runs on the Tandy. And here's the actual deskmate, which is your productivity program that this wants to load. But first, let's see if we can load DOS. Okay, that clicked into place. So we say start up from internal drive. I hear it doing stuff. Clicky, clicky, click. Yes, it's working. I guess in those expansion slots you can also put a real-time clock. So well, it's able to read the directory. And we run check disk. So it looks good. And it reports, I guess, 256 bytes of memory in there. So now, let's see if we can load the infamous deskmate. Oh, and the way we do that is deskmate doesn't have an OS on it because there wasn't space. So we insert that disk, and then we simply type in desk. Not complaining yet. Okay. And there you go. Deskmate in full Technicolor. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Calendar, notepad, calculator. I guess you can load text and edit it. A whole bunch of other stuff. But there's music on here. And let's see, I think it'll play through the internal speaker, so you will get hi-fi quality. But if we go to Bach song, where's the volume control? Okay, so we have the 2-part invention in F major. So all I got to do now is find the play button, which is here, but it's not a touch screen. All right, so okay. Oh, and clear play, F7 or 7. Okay, let me figure this out. Okay, let's do this again. The magic key is the tab key. So, view programs on drive A, and it should have, yeah, it has the desk that I previously typed in. So let's load that again. Because I hit all the buttons, I probably messed up a whole bunch of options in the music program. And let's see. Okay, we go to Again, we go to Bach.song. Yeah, I don't know if there was a mouse available for this or a joystick. I know a joystick was, but... So anyway, the ticket here is you use the tab key to get the cursor to come here. There. See the blinking cursor under play? So now... So, I don't know if you can hear that, but anyway, it's not of a very high quality. It's all square waves, but it's more capable than a standard PC was without a sound card. And yes, it's a little late, but we're still kind of in the holiday season. All right, she seems to be working. Let's button her up, and then we'll be done. Okay, she's all buttoned up. So let's give her one last test while she's running. I also found this joystick. So let's see if we can stop hitting the tab button repeatedly and enter the modern age. So, well, it's not going to work in DOS. But if we load DeskMate, oh, there's a mouse cursor. I can move it if it comes back. Yeah. So let's see. Computer load worksheet. I guess I can't talk into it, so let's see. This is Excel, and we'll load. No. And we're going to load check.worksheet. And it's all there. And the mouse is still here, so let's see. We can do all sorts of good stuff in here. And when we're done, can we do the menu? Oh, it only stays up as long as you have the button pressed, but yes. Looks like it's functional. Unfortunately, we got this ugly gap right up here. And I'm probably going to have to put some weather stripping in there. But other than that, she's working. And maybe I can find a mouse one day to make it really useful, since obviously this doesn't work either. The cursor's up there. So that's it. We got another working vintage computer. Thanks for watching. Hit the right icons and make sure to leave me a comment. See you next time.